Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, so I've been asked um, to do a Beterbiev. And, we've done Bivol. But for me, Beterbiev is the best light heavyweight in the world. And if Canelo is successful, how would he, against Bivol, how would he get on against Beterbiev? Let me explain. And you guys were talking about the Bivol fight and saying, well, Bivol don't get hit a lot. I saw a comment, I believe it was from D Money. What's going on, brother? I hope you're good. And you said that Bivol doesn't really get hit a lot. So why? Yeah, I do think Beterbiev is the best light heavyweight in the world, but Bivol doesn't really get hit a lot. Canelo doesn't get hit a lot, but let me break it down for you tactically and how I see it. You guys may disagree. Some of you might disagree. Canelo's defense, Bivol's defense, is all good if it's in the center of the ring. So Canelo, for example, against Beterbiev will be good if he's in the center of the ring. The problem Canelo will have in that fight, if Canelo is pushed back onto the ropes, his defense becomes redundant. Yeah, Canelo can still slip and slide on the ropes, and he's still effective on the ropes. Like his defense is still good. But if you look at a Golovkin fight, in the first fight when Golovkin had Canelo on the ropes, Canelo's defense wasn't as good because Canelo was getting caught with a lot of shots. He was getting caught with uppercuts, right hands. He was getting caught with a lot of shots. When Canelo's on the ropes, that defense becomes... Look at when Maidana had Mayweather. Maidana was catching Mayweather with a lot of shots, and that fight was really close. Because when the fight's on the ropes, your defense isn't going to be as good because the other guy's on top of you. And that's the problem that Canelo's going to have. If Canelo isn't strong enough and Canelo is fighting the fight on the back foot like he was with Golovkin, which I assume, I don't think Canelo's going to be strong enough to keep the fight in the center of the ring, especially if Beterbiev feels that I'm going to be able to push him back. So firstly, Canelo's going to have to hurt Beterbiev, right? He's going to have Beterbiev's respect. If Beterbiev's able to take Canelo's power, here's the other thing. People say, well, Canelo can hurt Beterbiev. Yeah, he can. And I believe he can. But I've seen some of Beterbiev fight. Beterbiev hasn't got a bad chin. That's a myth. Beterbiev takes a very good punch, right? He got caught with a big shot against Callum Johnson, who's a very big guy. And he went down and he was on wobbly legs and he got back up and he finished him in the next round or the same round. Beterbiev hasn't got a bad chin. So if Beterbiev feels that Canelo can't hurt him, which he may not be able to, because let's not forget, Plant took a lot of Canelo shots. What, Beterbiev's way stronger than Plant. I'm pretty sure he's got a way better chin and he takes a way better shot. He's a way bigger guy than Plant, right? It's funny that you guys say that, right? That, Beterbiev hasn't got a good chin, but then the same energy is not there with Benavidez, who got put down by a nobody, really. Beterbiev never got put down by nobody. Beterbiev got put down by Callum Johnson, who's known big puncher at that weight. So the point I'm trying to make is Beterbiev has fought guys like Govzik and walked straight through them. Marcus Brown walked straight through them. They are no small guys. Now, Canelo does hit hard, but does he hit hard for a light heavyweight? I don't think he does. Let's not forget, Kovalev was past his best when Canelo fought him. And, Kovalev went 11 rounds or what, But Kovalev wasn't in his prime, right? And to me, it wasn't Canelo's power so much. It was the fact that Kovalev fatigued because Canelo was just breaking him down. And it was more fatigue than power. So this is the question. If Canelo, I think the Canelo-Beterbiev fight is going to be interesting because it comes down to whether Canelo can hurt Beterbiev. If Canelo can't hurt Beterbiev and Beterbiev is pushing Canelo back on the back foot, Canelo on the back foot, on the ropes, isn't going to have the defense that he has in the center of the ring. You got to realize when he fought guys like Caleb Plant, Billy Joe, Canelo was on the front foot. Canelo can fight from the center of the ring. And Canelo's on the front foot, right? Canelo can make these guys miss in the center of the ring. It's a lot harder to do when a guy's got you on the ropes. Because that guy's sinking in body shots. He's sinking in overhand rights. He's sinking in shots and your defense isn't as effective on the ropes as it would be in the center of the ring. So Canelo in the center of the ring isn't as effective. Is more effective than he is on the ropes. And that's why Golovkin had a lot more success in the first fight because Golovkin had him on the back foot. So for me, I think Beterbiev, firstly, Canelo's going to have to push him back, hurt him, be able to push Beterbiev back. And if Beterbiev doesn't have respect for Canelo's power, which is a possibility, he's a bigger man, right? then Canelo could be in serious trouble in that fight. I'm telling you guys, he could be in serious trouble. So Canelo's going to have to be able to hurt him. He's also, for me, bulking up is not a good thing in that fight. Canelo needs to be in good shape. And he actually needs to be, for me, not big. Because he's never going to be as big as Beterbiev. Beterbiev is always going to be the bigger, stronger man in there. It doesn't matter what Canelo does. It doesn't matter how many weights Canelo lifts. Beterbiev is going to be the bigger, stronger man against Canelo. So for me, Canelo's going to have to be lean. He's going to have to be slim. He's going to have to be how he was. If you look at the Golovkin second fight, Canelo came into that fight light. Canelo wasn't heavy in that fight, and they actually helped him. His stamina was good. Everything was good. In the first fight, for me, Canelo gassed a little bit. He was heavy. So for me, Canelo coming in heavy, I think with Bivol, it's a different fight because Bivol's not going to put as much mental and physical pressure on Canelo as Beterbiev is. So this is what I'm trying to say. Canelo needs to come in light against Beterbiev, not heavy, not bulked up, because I don't think, I think that's going to be a detriment to what he's trying to achieve against Beterbiev. I don't see how Canelo's going to be able to push Beterbiev on the back foot and hurt him. And you know, I think Canelo's going to have to box beautifully in that fight. And he's going to have to, for me, he's going to have to go in, he's going to have to spar and get great sparring with guys that are able to push him on the back foot, make it uncomfortable, because that's how I think that fight's going to go. I don't see Canelo being able to push Beterbiev back and fight in the center of the ring. Beterbiev doesn't really fight in the center of the ring. Beterbiev likes to push you back and beat you up. So firstly, Canelo's going to have to do something, which he may be able to do. Push Beterbiev back, hurt him, and make Beterbiev have doubts in his head, and make Beterbiev, you know, wary of his power, so Beterbiev doesn't just march forward. Because if Beterbiev is marching forward, Beterbiev is a very good technical fighter, and remember, that's how he's used to brought up fighting. That's how he's been brought up fighting. So if he's be able to push Canelo, a smaller man, back on the back foot consistently, Beterbiev, that's his game. That's what he does. That's going to be a big problem for Canelo. So Canelo's going to have to find a way on how to neutralize Beterbiev. And the only way I believe he can do that is by being able to hurt him. Because then if Beterbiev is hurt, Beterbiev's going to have to do something different, or he's not going to be able to march forward because he knows this guy will knock me out if I keep coming forward. So Beterbiev is going to have to then probably box from the center ring. And that's when Canelo slipping, sliding, and all that stuff is good defense will come into play. Because I just don't see, look, I see Beterbiev is going to fight one way. I don't think Beterbiev is going to look to box Canelo. Beterbiev is going to come and look to be a pressure fighter, push him back, and look to hurt him. And that's how I see the fight going. I don't see any other way that this fight's going to play out. I just see that Beterbiev is going to be on the front foot. He's going to be looking to push Canelo back, looking to hurt Canelo. And look, Beterbiev might be even able to stop Canelo. I'm being serious. People say Canelo's got a granite chin. This is a completely different beast of a fighter. You know, Beterbiev is a very, very big puncher. But Canelo has a great defense, which is only, for me, more effective in the center of the ring and at range. I think on the ropes, I don't think his defense is going to be as effective. And this is what I'm trying to say, that if Beterbiev is pushing Canelo back, it could be dangerous for Canelo. And I've done a lot of studying of Beterbiev, so I've realized now that this guy is a lot more than what I thought initially. And Canelo is going to have to, honestly, it's going to be a very tough fight for Canelo. That is a very, very dangerous fight. And I'm not even overlooking Bivol, because Bivol's a great fighter, but Beterbiev is a monster. I've looked at his amateur record. I've looked at his amateur fights. This guy's no joke. He's no joke. People don't realize, if Canelo fights Beterbiev, I think you have to take your hat off to Canelo, because Beterbiev, honestly, he's a monster. He's a monster. I'm telling you guys, that's a very, very difficult fight for Canelo. Very difficult. And I know, look, Beterbiev is a very skilled amateur. That's what you guys don't realize. He's a very skilled amateur. And that's what problem Canelo had with Golovkin. Canelo fought a guy who was as skilled a boxer as him. Just because a guy's coming forward doesn't mean he's not a good boxer. Beterbiev is a very, very well-schooled amateur. Canelo's not a very well-schooled amateur. Canelo learned on the job. That's why Canelo got schooled by Floyd, is because of the fact that Floyd was so experienced and Canelo was learning on the job. Canelo now is a very, very skilled and high-level boxer. But he had to learn on the job because he didn't have the amateur background that some of these other great fighters have. And that's why I appreciate Canelo's even more because he's had to learn on the job and get better because he hasn't had the schooling that some of the great fighters that we know in the modern era have because of the fact that he wasn't an amateur, a stellar amateur like them. He's turned pro from a very young age, 15, I believe. So again, whereas Beterbiev had a very long amateur career. And yeah, this is a very, very dangerous fight for Canelo. Um, I'd be rooting for Canelo to win, but I think I think he beats Bivol. I don't think Bivol beats him. I favor Canelo in that one, but the Beterbiev fight, that's a serious fight, guys. Honestly, that's a hard fight. I've watched a lot of boxing now, and I know when I see a serious fighter, that is no joke of a fighter. That's a monster. Beterbiev is a monster. Benavidez ain't no monster. That's a monster. Benavidez hasn't got the amateur background that this guy's got. This guy's got a very stellar amateur background. And as a pro, he's been wiping everybody out. This is a scary, scary dude. And yeah, Benavidez ain't no Beterbiev. I'm telling you guys now. He's no Beterbiev, right? Canelo would smoke Benavidez easy. Easy. That's easy work for Canelo. Beterbiev is far from easy work. That is a scary dude. That for me is going to be Canelo's toughest fight. If Canelo beats Beterbiev, you know, we have to start hailing King Canelo. We have to start hailing because that is a dangerous fight. And I'm talking dangerous, not just in terms of him getting stopped, but dangerous in terms of that guy could put a serious beating on Canelo. Sometimes we're raising Canelo's level so high and we're not even realizing what he's doing. Like Canelo will go into the fight against Beterbiev a favorite and falsely because Beterbiev is so much bigger than Canelo. He's so much stronger than Canelo, right? That's a very dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. People don't understand how dangerous that fight is with Beterbiev. Like, do you not understand how big Beterbiev is, how skilled he is as a fighter? He walks forward, he beats people up, he bashes people up. You know, I honestly don't. If Canelo fights Beterbiev, I think you have to take your hat off. Because Canelo, for me, is fighting somebody more dangerous than anyone that Floyd fought. Beterbiev is an animal. Is an animal. Like, he's such a good fighter. I'm so appreciative of Beterbiev's skills now, watching him fight. And that guy is a scary guy. I'm telling you, that guy is a scary guy. If Canelo beats him, I think Canelo's just... I think he's just... Like, when people say, well, oh, Roy Jones would destroy Canelo and stuff like that. Like, if Canelo beats Beterbiev, do you think Roy Jones would destroy Beterbiev? Do you think he would absolutely wipe? I don't. Beterbiev is a really, really good fighter. He's got power. You know, yeah, he's not quick, but he wears you down. He puts you on the back foot. His chin isn't suspect. Just because a guy's been put down once in his career, that doesn't mean that he's suspect. You know, he's never been stopped. You know, Beterbiev is a monster. He's a monster. Right now, as my boxing head would make him a favorite against Canelo. But Canelo's special, and you can't write Canelo off in any fight. But Canelo's going to be made the favorite in that fight. And then when Canelo wins, if Canelo was to beat Beterbiev, he won't get the credit. He won't get the credit. People will say he was old, and if you like, Canelo's been made falsely favorite in these fights, or falsely a massive favorite when he shouldn't be. And if he was to win, he should get more credit, because for me, Beterbiev is probably a 50-50 fight. Maybe even slight favorite towards Beterbiev. So if Canelo was to win, Canelo should get hailed more than what he does. But because of Canelo's reputation and what he's doing right now and wiping these guys out, Canelo won't even get that much credit for it. Whereas like Canelo beating Beterbiev is ridiculous. Beterbiev is such a strong, powerful fighter. You know, Canelo beating him, he should be lauded and hailed even more so. But he won't be, because of the fact that of his level and where he's at. But yeah, I do fear for him in that fight, honestly. And I know some of you have been saying as well that I think Canelo's been beating these guys, but I think we're starting to make Canelo out not to be something he's not, because he's great. But what we mean is we're trying to raise his standards and make out he's going to go and wipe all these guys out. But these guys are much better and dangerous and big. And I think, you know, we may be underestimating his competition here. Beterbiev, I think everybody knows. I think everybody knows that. Even the loyalist of Canelo's loyal Canelo fan knows that this is a monster. He's a monster. Beterbiev is a monster. As an amateur and a pro, the guy's different league, and he's a monster. Canelo, can he defuse the monster? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. He'll beat Bivol in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But Beterbiev is the fight that I think is. Yeah, Beterbiev could even stop Canelo. I'm being serious. He could wear Canelo down and stop him. That's a dangerous fight. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.